Hello everybody and welcome to the Elite Dangerous live stream. My name is Edward Lewis and I'm the community manager here at Frontier Developments. You might have heard of me once or twice, but with me I have a very, very special guest, somebody who deserves all of the accolades and love that you already are garnished with every day, sprinkled with every day, you might say.
Sprinkled with instant coffee powder.
Well, I'm not sure about that. We have Dav Stott.
Good evening, everybody.
Round of applause, please, in the chat for Dav Stott, and a single round of applause here from me. That's what you get.
I'm very happy with that. Good evening, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here.
I'm trying to be my sensible person today. Thank you, Shan. Yes, of course I am. I'm always sensible. I don't know what you mean. But I hope that we look nice and smooth for you today because, well, we have a new camera. And apparently we're running at 60 frames per second. You're getting all of the frames, well, not all of them, but as many as possible. Of Dav and I, the most frames that you've ever seen of us or the developers on this live stream, unless we do it at fancy events. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm just technical. You know, we'll talk about that later at some other date on the new camera live stream. But that's not what this is about today.
We do need to test it all, of course.
Yeah, we do have a beta out at the moment.
Absolutely.
2.3.10 we're calling it because of course we don't want to confuse people with 2.3.01.
No, we've already released 2.3.1. This one's 2.3.10.
Which, instead of doing 2.3.1.01.
Yes, instead of that.
Is that right?
No.
Oh. I don't know.
There's a reason we don't do numbers.
These number conventions confuse me. All right, so basically what we're going to do tonight is jump in now and show you how that's working as well. If you get involved in the CGs that we have running within that beta, you get a decal, which is very, very fancy indeed. Very nice decal, a unique decal that you won't be able to get anywhere else as well.
And I broke the beta sign.
And you is that what it is? Okay, right, sure.
We've had artists design it. There's a reason for that.
It looks really nice. I really like it. Yeah, it's very
cool.
Good. Look, we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be playing the beta. I'm going to take part in the CG. We're going to do it in open play, so you will be able to join in and maybe come and kill me. I'm probably going to get killed, let's be honest. But the real reason that you're all here, of course, is this person right here, Dav Stott, lead server developer. You are an intelligent man who knows what he's talking about. Thank God there's one of them here.
I like to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and so, look, you're all in the chat.
Yep.
Dav, you're going to try and answer as many questions as you possibly can, and I don't mean that in a challenge way. I mean, if the questions come through and you're unable to answer them, then
I will
unfortunately you're unable to answer them.
Yes.
You don't have to answer every single thing that you see coming in from the chat.
No, for example, I probably can't answer the question of where's Chad.
Chad, I know where Chad is. He's just arrived back in the country. He was away. He was in... I can't remember where he was. He was on holiday.
Okay, cool. So we do need the full team to answer your questions.
That's very good. Somebody says, you can tell Dad... Shan says, you can tell Dad's clever. He has a clever lab coat on.
That's because when you're working with science, you need to avoid getting splashed.
So the first question is coming in from Millstone Barn already. What's your favourite number, Dav?
My favourite number? Can't answer that question. I'm sorry, it's too difficult.
Okay. Right, good start.
And so it begins.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, like I say, jumping into the beta. We're going to read the full instructions here as well on this side, and it sort of explain to people why we're doing this particular beta.
Yes.
Well, that's my question to you.
Okay, so you'd like
to kick things off, get you warmed up.
Why are we asking people to help us with this particular beta? So, the 2.3.10 open beta, we are throwing it live to as many players as are willing to help us test it. We have made a number of behind-the-scenes code changes to do with the way that in-game physics objects work and to do with the way that some of the networking works. And in order to give that as big a stress test as possible, we need as many different players from all over the world on all sorts of different computers, all sorts of different network connections to jump into this one area of the game and try and break it. That's what the test is for, after all. So this is why we're asking people to play in open, because a lot of these changes are to do with how multiplayer works. So if we've got a number of people loading into a particular scene, and a complicated scene, such as the mysterious alien ancient ruin sites, if lots of people are loading into that, and somebody starts loading in, somebody else starts loading in, then that can stress the network code in all sorts of interesting ways. Some of them we know about, some of them we perhaps don't yet know about, which is what this test is all about.
Hey, Dav, could you do me a favour and just maybe slightly adjust your microphone a little higher up, just push it up towards your mouth a little more?
You mean so you can actually hear me?
Yeah, some people are suggesting you might be a little bit quiet. I just want to make sure they can hear you nice and clear.
Well, I could stick it on my nose, but it'd be really...
That's, do you need any assistance there? That's probably going to be...
There we go.
That might be better. I've turned you up a little bit as well to make sure they can hear him as well.
Yeah.
The stream is very quiet tonight, according to some people. Well, I'm sorry. I'll try and turn us up a little bit, best we possibly can. But
am I any less hearing now?
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So, okay. Lots has been going on this week in the Frontier Development Sound, but also in our community as well.
Absolutely.
So obviously there might be some questions related to those sorts of things. That's not kind of the thing we're covering tonight. We're covering more Dav's expertise, which is
anything to do with player states, networking, servers, some of the server simulations I can try and talk to. I've also there was a question earlier on, had we seen the question forum threads? The answer is yes, and so I've spoken to a number of colleagues to find out where an area isn't necessarily mine, just to find out what a response would be and to see whether we can see what we can talk about this evening.
Excellent.
So I have done a little bit of research as well as just things that I can manage from my own area.
And everybody at home, thank you very much for coming along as well. Hopefully it should be interesting this evening. To say the least. Hopefully you'll get some answers out of Dav.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but also remember, do be kind to Dav as well. If he's not able to say something or literally doesn't know the answer to something, you will just say that.
I will indeed just say that.
Also, you do have something there as well on the table here with us.
Yes, I have a pencil.
You're not
helping?
You're not helping.
Okay.
So are we talking about this? Are you going to tell people about this?
Yes, okay, why not? So this is going to look really strange on camera, so I do apologise, but an extreme close-up.
Yeah, it won't focus,
No,
unfortunately.
it won't. So I have a decision dice with me, so if somebody asks me a question that I don't know, I can roll the dice and we can get an answer from it.
Okay.
And that extreme close-up really didn't work.
No, it didn't, but I wish we had the camera on and we could have held it up to the other
Absolutely,
camera.
so as an aside.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
All right, so questions. Well, first of all, before we do start on that, let's have a look over here. Welcome to the Elite Dangerous 2.3 1.0 Network and Physics Stress Test. Proceed to the Ancient Ruin sites in open play, and that's basically it, right? Hosting test community goals, take part in those, and you will receive a decal as well, exclusive decal. So if you haven't already, do join us in the 2.3.10 beta because you'll be able to get the cool decal for taking part. It'll come in an update at a later date.
In the later date.
Yeah, and check the forums as well for all the details on those. So
one of the questions, yeah, absolutely. So one of the questions that we've seen people asking who maybe haven't had the opportunity to join us in a beta test of Elite Dangerous so far is people who are concerned that anything they do in beta would affect their live game. And rest be assured, the beta game, and you have to make sure you do click the beta from the launcher, is on a completely different copy of the Galaxy to the live game. We took a copy of the live game on, I think it was Monday, something like that. So people who want their live game save can fly around on beta with that. People who would like to jump straight into the beta action can, if they choose clear their save from the main menu, then there is a fast start option.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you to do. Let's demonstrate that now, because I've gone into the main game by accident. I thought it was going to be self-destruct and then choose from that option. No, you're saying go into options, clear the save in there.
Yep.
And then this, right, look.
Absolutely. So if it says beta on the main menu.
This is my personal account.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it says beta, let's just double check that.
So
where will it say that?
On the bottom where it says welcome to the Elite Dangerous 2.3.10.
Then do this.
Yes.
Okay, then you go to...
And yes, we have read the comments that say that say we don't have beta in the bottom corner of the screen.
Okay. Are you sure? Yes.
It's painful, but no, it is fine.
800 hours of
I know.
All right. I can put a new name in.
Yeah. Commander Beta Ed.
What do we think, guys? Everybody in the chat, what should we choose as my new name? Please be kind.
Trundlebug.
Trundlebug. What do you reckon? What do you reckon of my desired beta name? And it won't change my name in the main one. Ed, stop. No, you absolute trolls.
A bit late.
I can't believe they would do that to me.
No.
Of course they're going to do that to me. Biscuit.
Commander Biscuit. It's probably already taken, but we can try it.
We can give it a go. I feel like it will be, won't it? Edus Internus Biscuit Bandit. Let's try the Biscuit Bandit.
The Biscuiteer, that's a good name. Right, okay, so if you...
Cookie Monster, Commander Shiny.
Yeah.
Fluffy Biscuits. Beta Ed rather than Alpha Ed. Alpha and yo.
Yeah.
Zach Lewis, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's getting a bit
Biscuit
mixed up.
Bandit, that's who I am.
Yeah,
and
so-
then starting package.
So, as you can clearly see, underneath where it says new commander here, there is an option that says fast start. So, the curse of the live demonstration strikes again.
Oh.
That's not worked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have we just deleted my main account by accident?
Nope.
Why has that not worked?
I don't know.
All right, well, that's good. We're a random federal system, we're starting on credit, so let's just see what happens when I press OK.
Yeah. The curse of the live demonstration, moving right along. Ah, Crivens, you just can't make this stuff up.
The barrel, the biscuit.
For tang, whoops, ole, biscuit bell.
Biscuit box.
Yes, so William Ballin has mentioned, can we get a watermark added to the beta version? It has come up in conversation on the forums, and we have received the question. It's not my area, so I can't give you an answer right now, I'm afraid. But we have heard you.
I'm a Trevithick dog.
Yeah, that's not good.
Why did that not work for me?
I have no idea.
What?
Everybody who's entitled to Horizons should have seen that starter pack.
Okay. Interesting. Has anybody else done this and had this problem? Because that seems really interesting.
This is of course a beta test. So
well, there we go. I need to report this is a problem.
Absolutely.
All right, so where am I supposed to be going for this? He's literally writing this down.
I shall report the bug. Please talk amongst yourselves.
Please talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, the CG's over. Wait, is that where the CG is here?
Yes, forgive me for not remembering the exact catalogue number. That's
fine.
going to be a long travel.
No, it's all right. That's what we've got to do. 423, that's nothing in my sidey. I probably can't even get them in sidey, can I?
No, but because this is beta...
No, go on, right, so what have I got? What, can I buy stuff from Trevithick? Probably not.
No, but Dalton Gateway in that star system...
Look at this. Knowledge.
I believe...
that problem is... How many credits do we have? 10 million. Right,
Yeah.
we can get something, right?
So
let's do it. Let's get to Dalton Gateway.
Dalton Gateway in that star system should stock everything on beta. Likewise, for people who start in the Cellus Primus, the starport there, Beagle 2 Landing, should also stock everything.
This was the beta. This was the Horizons beta.
What did the main menu? What was the ident moving?
Yeah, it was the planet surface with the things spinning.
Was it? Yeah. Well,
Dav, it doesn't matter because the main thing,
What exactly? So let's answer some questions. So
let's do this.
Yeah, so
get on there. I'll sort stuff out over this way. Questions.
Yeah.
Bring some questions in, please.
Come on, chat room. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
It was true. I was in Elite Dangerous instead of Elite Dangerous.
Are there plans to enable other decals on the pilot suits too? I'm terribly sorry, I can take the question, but again, it's not my area, I can't answer that one.
I can answer it, yes.
Okay. Awesome. I look forward to that. I like my my Hollow Me.
nice.
I think it's quite cool to play with.
Yes. Yeah, I love being able to answer some stuff.
Good evening, Commander Hados.
More questions, please, for Dav.
I hear the devs are set up with their main accounts on the beta server. Well, dev accounts are a bit of a tool that we use for work. It's not necessarily the same experience that players have. Could I talk about the decision for the background sim tick to be done on a daily basis? So, the faction simulation, we say, runs approximately every 24 hours or so. The reason for that is partly technical and also partly because it's supposed to be a background simulation. So every event in there has a duration, and a lot of those events are to do with some pretty major in-game things to do with, like, if you've got, say, 500,000 people in one faction going to war with another 500,000 people, they're unlikely to do so on an hour-to-hour basis. And it gives everybody a chance to contribute, and it also means that we have an opportunity to balance things out. Yay, there we go.
Just keep going.
Curse the live demonstration.
It's all right.
So yes, it is something we've talked about, but for the moment, the faction tick, we say it runs once every 24 hours or so. We don't give an exact time, and that's pretty much where we're at with it. So Ed has now logged in with Horizons, and there is a fast start.
Keep going with the questions.
Absolutely, keep going with the question. So, have we observed any differences in latency with IPv4 versus IPv6? I'm going to say not from the server's point of view, but we are seeing a gradual uptick in the number of players that are able to take advantage of IPv6 and the number of players who are in dual stack. It's still early days for now, but we are seeing an increase in popularity. We haven't had any feedback from people to say, oh my goodness, this is terrible. and we haven't had anybody say, yeah, this is wonderful. So if you've experienced it and you'd like to let us know how you're getting on with it, maybe you've met somebody else using only IPv6, please do let us know. It's all good feedback. Commander so no, I'm not going to get that one right.
We do this every single time, and he's always like, "It's not that hard."
It really is.
Tokoso.
Commander, what Ed said is power play separate from the background simulation. So the power play term processor is one of the background simulations. We have many of them. There's the factions one, the economy one, the outfitting one. There's a whole bunch of simulations. The power play one is almost completely separate, but the faction state and the faction government does feed into some of the power play values to do with the ethos of a power when it's controlling a star system. So there are some links, but could areas of conflict in power play affect the background simulation? I don't believe we've got any plans for that just now, but again, it's a design question. I can make a note of it and ask the designers, who will of course give me the answer. How stressed were the servers by 140 ships in a single instance recently, from Commander Jester D? So I found out about this on Sunday morning after somebody tweeted it, and it was why couldn't I be invited to the party rather than telling me afterwards? So the answer is the servers were not particularly distressed by that, but
I love that answer.
The players within that instance
in a long time.
would have had a very variable experience. There is a reason why we set the default instance sizes where we do, because we're quite confident that we can give people a reasonably good expectation of a good experience. So the people who set up that big instance, they use the win mechanics to do it. We don't actually support people doing that, but also we don't stop people doing that. So it makes it very variable and very juddery. So the servers were fine, but the players within that instance would have had an unpredictable time. Yes, it's cool to see that many ships all hyperspace out at the same time, but it wouldn't have taken much to get single-digit frames per second, or lots of rubber banding, or ghost of ships going on, just because there are that many connections in the networking.
Excellent. More questions coming in. There's lots already in there. Keep the questions coming in for Dav.
I don't know about serves. My PC was well stressed. Yeah, that I can well believe. Ape Electric. Anything new with the API? Yes. So we, for those people who look at the companion API, there is now a copy of that points to the beta database. That's all I can say on that subject for now. There's nothing else to announce just at the minute. Why are the betas always PC only? It's a good question from Commander Alex Stanek. I'm afraid I do not know the answer. Commander William Bolin, is it too difficult to add the beta community goals to the list of activities in the multi-crew menu? No, we just didn't. Sorry, I'll make a note.
Look at that. Isn't that great? What was the question? Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The question was, can we add beta community goals to the list of activities in multi-crew? I'm not going to promise it, but it's something we can look at doing. It's not a...
What controller am I using? You're just using the Xbox 360 controller.
Multi-crew menu. There we go. Taking notes already. No promises, no guarantees, because...
No, well, you're learning from Sandy.
Because there is a good chance that something else will distract me because, hey, squirrel! But yes, I'll make a note of it. Alex Brentnell asks, is the big ship instances something you can plan for and adjust server load in advance for? No, because of the way that our servers automatically balance the load between themselves. If one star system gets really, really popular, then it will automatically roll over onto different servers. And it's a completely fluid system that balances the load as best it can all by itself. We can influence it, but generally the computers do a better job of working it out than we ever would by hand. Can we get Dav and Ed bobbleheads?
Yes.
I don't think anybody would want to see a Dav bobblehead.
What, are you kidding me? You're just begging for people to say, yeah, we want Dav bobbleheads! Everyone's going to say that now.
Absolutely.
Everyone wants Dav bobblehead. Yeah, I want some cargo, basic security scanners.
Commander Kinch D, can I give us a slight spoiler on why you're testing these specific circumstances? For the beta test? I would say, well, it's because we always try and optimise our code. We always try and make improvements to the player experience as best we can. Mm-hmm. And whilst we do have plans, I obviously can't talk to those plans because it's just not my area. I'm a very implementation, operations sort of area, kind of design and content isn't. But from a technical point of view, we're always making optimizations to the servers, to the game client, to the networking code, to how they all interact. And in this particular case, we've made some fairly sturdy optimizations that we just really wanted people to give some exercise to, and also to help us explore other ones, just to help us guide future optimizations, because what works for us in our test setup might not be indicative of what your test setup is wherever you are in the world.
Nice. Keep the questions coming in.
Absolutely.
Dav's got this covered.
Indeed.
You
So
don't need me.
I could take a couple of questions from the forums whilst the chat room's thinking about new ones. Absolutely. So one of the questions, I'm afraid I didn't note down the commander name, was to do with how population changes work across the galaxy and what, if anything, we're doing in Colonia. So whilst I don't... absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I've been talking to somebody about that earlier today as well.
Indeed. So whilst I'm not going to completely steal Steve Kirby's thunder, as content is very much his jurisdiction, enough people asked about it that I wanted to go and get an answer for you. So first of all is that, yes, population does change in star systems around the galaxy, especially within Colonia. It is not yet automatically adjusted by any of the background simulations. That's not to say that it will do in the future, but at the moment, the current, at this point in time, it does not automatically happen. Populations do change based on player activities such as community goals, community goal rewards. Maybe some of the player factions have gone to colonise. When people go and set up a base, we send in a number of thousand colonists to go with it, otherwise the markets will be a little bit dry. And according to our own plans for what the storyline is going to be and what facilities we've got planned to develop that region space. So yes, more population is on its way in an update soon, TM. But it's not necessarily an automatic process. But we do take feedback from player actions and feedback into our design. Are there technical issues with the idea of letting minor factions colonise or just exploit empty systems on the fly? I'm sure that I can find technical issues with any new idea. It's an idea that we've talked about on a number of occasions. Nothing to announce today, but it's certainly an idea that comes up very often.
Would you reckon one of each? We've got to deliver these as part of the test. What should we take, one of each? Or
I am actually not super expert in... Probably want to get rid of the... well, you need to make sure you've got enough provisions for your journey. I'm afraid I don't actually know the detailed gameplay from the ancient ruins. I've been there a little bit, but not enough to explore what it's all about. I'm afraid the game is just too big for any one person. Is there enough parking space for the new population in Colonia? If there isn't, I'm sure we can install some new car parks and some new ship parks.
Sorry, that's the thing.
So what other questions have we had? One of the frequently asked questions from some of our power play people is to do with some of the incoming consistencies on the galaxy map and compared to the power play screen. Commander Vectron has asked us that. Some of the other people who are also avid power players have asked us that. So the good news, first of all, is that yes, we hear you. We now have a fairly good grip and understanding of what the problem is. And it is on our collective to-do list to address. I don't have an ETA for you just now because we need to understand how to safely change the way that these things are calculated. But it is very much something we wish to correct because we understand that it makes it difficult to plan to that level of detail. So for those power players who have been asking us about us, yes, we hear you. Yes, we are on it. No, I don't have an ETA for you just now.
So as far as instructions are correctly apparently.
Yay, and off we go.
I'm still in solo because I've not
yes, it's
jumped out yet, the same way as it always works.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump. Where is the destination going to? Ancient Ruins. Planet 1B is signing for XRHD11102.
That's easy for you to say. Maybe an exploration scanner? You're in the right star system already. In theory, you should also be above the correct...
Ancient Ruins.
Yeah, we didn't hide them this time around.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Absolutely. So, what other questions do we have from
Plenty.
the forums? I'm sure there are plenty of questions just waiting to come from the chat room. Let's see, what would be a good question to ask? there were a few questions about missions that my colleague Dominic Corner has brought to my attention and wanted me to relay a few answers to. So we can
That's
talk
why
about.
you were having that stern chat with Dominic Corner.
Absolutely, I was making sure I was getting the received wisdom on what the answer should be. So a couple of missions questions. So first of all was a question of if two factions are in a conflict with each other, so a war or a civil war, probably not an election. That's not doesn't normally give conflict zones.
Vote.
Absolutely. Then a question has arisen from players who were concerned that one faction wasn't necessarily getting mission spawned for that conflict, whereas the other faction was getting mission spawned for it, which made it difficult to fight that conflict. The good news is that there is a fix coming up.
Oh, don't tell me that I haven't picked my SLV.
So yeah, there is a fix coming up that should address the issue of both factions in a conflict not spawning the massacre missions. So that's coming up in an upcoming release. Can't give you the exact release number, but it is. But the fix is on the cards.
Hey, Commander JN PBR, good to see you.
Yeah.
Can somebody remind me how with that thing you can use the ship's scoop on the ground? Just knock them up into the air first. It's possible, but you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you might need an
That's
SRV
great.
first.
Well, there you go, everybody. Learn from me. You need an SRV.
Absolutely.
Well,
So,
for me, you need an SRV. It's like a little rhyme.
Indeed.
What can I do?
What else was a question about missions? So another player asked about certain background sim outputs for missions, and somebody was saying that, for example, with courier missions, what were they doing to trade in that system? So where the results of a mission affect one of the state buckets, such as a boon bucket or a lockdown bucket or or an expansion bucket. I'm not sure if there are any missions that do that. Mission design is, again, not something I know terribly well. Then we will always report the outputs from the mission as part of the mission report screen. So when you complete a mission and it gives you a bunch of different arrows saying this faction increased boom or this faction increased bust, those are the direct outputs and those go directly into the faction simulation. There are no other hidden buckets than what we display on that. The Grandad Paradox asks for other mission board changes. I don't know exactly what it is you've got in mind, but again, I mentioned we always work on optimizations where we can. So for instance, we've received a certain amount of feedback where people would prefer the mission board experience to be slightly different in certain areas, or they might want it to be faster or give you more selection or things like that. So when time permits, we do always make sure that we can offer optimizations as part of every release. There's nothing specific to announce just now, but rest assured, like with the networking code, we're always working on improving speed, improving selection, improving variety. We are always looking at that, but there's nothing specific to talk about because there's just lots of little optimizations it would be difficult to know where to begin. And I'd probably get it wrong and then Dom would be sad, and we don't want a sad Dom.
Sad Dom.
Absolutely.
Adam and Dom don't want to be sad.
David Pearson asks, can I talk about the relative effect of passengers versus missions versus data versus bounties on faction influence? I can, but only if I had notes with me. So, and I'm afraid I don't have the numbers with me. And for those people who wanted me to say the word numbers, I've gone and fallen into that trap already. And only halfway through only half an hour into the live stream. So, faction influence is from a number of different player activities. Different player activities have a certain amount of output. We try and balance them as best we can so that a certain amount of player time has a similar amount of effect depending on what the activity was. They are different. I'm terribly sorry I don't have the numbers with me, and if I try and remember them, the one thing I will guarantee you is that I will get it wrong.
Nice. All right, I've made a mistake.
You going back for you just wanted to look at the outside of that Ocellus.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah,
right,
I do like this Ocellus. I love the way that starports can fly between star systems.
Excuse me.
Oh, clunk.
Nudge. That was your fault. What do you mean me? You were in the...
Absolutely.
Guys, 90 credits, I can afford that.
Well, you've got a beta startup pack, so if it's really bad, you can always just clear, save and go again. But
it says I'm solo still.
Yeah, we need to change star systems. I know you can't have been in solo because
I just nudged into a commander.
Yeah, you met him. No, I can't be
anyway,
right.
Yeah. And he plans to add more music to the game. Like say, I think it's something that's
I imagine so.
Yeah.
We've got an audio design team that are both talented and very busy. I'm sure they add as much as they can whenever they can.
I do not agree for on purpose, Steve Kirby. Good to have you at No Moon, Commander.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'm an idiot. First of all, I'm not even totally sure
Outfitting.
that a vulture can actually fit an SRV in it, can it?
I have no idea. Can we cut a hole in the bottom of an SRV?
Let's
We'll find out in just a
Yeah,
minute.
let's find out.
Absolutely.
And if not, we'll just get a new ship.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, question from Nade. Ed,
Yes.
why do you look so sad? The sun was shining in my eyes and I was like that. Then also, I forgot to have an SRV and I'm sad about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sad, I'm happy.
The SRVs are wonderful.
I'm just letting
thing
him,
to go to, isn't it?
it's my default face.
Yeah.
Every ship can have SRV. Well, I'm thinking of Fighter Bay, aren't I? That's why I'm getting confused.
That's true. We not all ships
It's
are
not
big
as
enough
if
for us to
there's
cut a
lot,
hole in
you
for the
know,
fighter
in
bay.
this game or anything.
Commander Smudgetron asks, when we will see engineers in Colonia? It's a question that does get asked. Again, that's a future intent question and a design question, so I'm sorry I can't answer that one. I can't give you yes, no, or maybe. It's just not my area.
Oh, no, that really takes over the deployed weapon limit, which I didn't realise I was already
Can a
at.
population of a system change due to the background simulation? So I've answered that one already, so it's clearly a frequently asked question. No, there is nothing automatic from the automatic simulations that will affect a system's population in the game as it is today. We do, as part of our design process, alter populations, but nothing automatic from the servers.
By the way, everything deployed is massive currently.
Right, can you give yourself a bigger power plant?
Nope. I'm using the top one.
Oh yeah.
What do we not need? We don't need as big frameshift drive.
No, you're not travelling
Even
anywhere.
that's not knocking it down that
Absolutely.
much. The deployed level is just huge.
So Commander Aladdin Sane says, will stuttering around stations and planetary bases be addressed? So if you're in multiplayer and your peer-to-peer networking is struggling a little bit, maybe because one of the other people in your instance is on a relatively constrained environment, then yes, these are exactly the sorts of networking changes that we work on, that we try and optimise all of the time. We do what we can, and there's no one specific cure-all mechanism that we could implement to improve that, but it is definitely something that we look at. And those people asking about future plans that are really kind of grand, totally so, it's just not my area. Can't help you there.
Thrusters at 5D.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably... Yeah, let's look out.
Indeed. Do we have infinite money in
What's
open
going
beta? You don't have infinite money in open beta, but you can clear your save as often as you like, and every time you clear your save, we'll give you 10 million credits. So it's pretty close to being infinite money in open beta.
Right. Oh, look,
Hooray.
it's now 1:30. We're half
Okay.
an hour through already,
Absolutely.
and I've just about managed to be ready to go.
Yay! How will the gnosis be moved? How will the gnosis be moved by players? You won't be getting out and pushing. That we can guarantee.
Nice.
If I could improve one thing with the background simulation right now, what would it be? I think I would want to make it a little bit more visible to the players. It's very difficult to do because there are such a large number of numbers, and in terms of the design and user interface required to give a good experience would be very difficult. But visibility, I think, is one of the more interesting things that we could play with some of the background simulations. Yeah. However, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a game designer, I'm not in production, no promises, no guarantees, and do not take what I've just said as indication that it will ever make it into the game.
No, but I would say that that's something that we've already said, that we've communicated, is that we're looking to go back and improve lots of the other areas of the game. So it is one thing that we obviously have thought about, and,
yes,
and will be taken into consideration when.
Very much so. Yes, we're always looking for ideas to add into the mixing pot. When
and we know that that's an important part of people's experience of the game. You know, in a lot of ways, it's a lot of people's end game.
Yes, absolutely. Commander the Duckster says, can you get a lab coat too? Yeah, of course. The mail order company, I'm sure will be delighted to take your money.
And also make sure you use the code Dav Stott at checkout, because he gets he gets an extra 10%.
Whatever it takes to get some more biscuit fund.
It's nothing to do with me.
No.
Use the code Biscuit Fund if you want to do that.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness. Here we go.
Yeah.
The more scientists in the game, the better. Yeah, more questions, please. Do we have a plan to improve high security system NPCs' cops abilities or fittings in order to make them stronger against wanted players? Now that's a loaded question that is most definitely best fielded by our head of design, Sandy Samarco. So I'm going to have to decline to answer it, but it is a question that's come up in conversation a lot. We hear it a lot from the forums, and it comes up in conversation around the office. Nothing to announce just now, but yes, we hear it.
Good. Nice.
Kinch D says, how viable would it be to get a timeline of changes to background simulation factions and commodity prices? So the data are of course plausible to obtain, but if you as a player would want to see that data, how would you want it returned to you? How would you like it displayed? How would you want to explore it? And how could you display it within the game that would fit within the existing user experience of a simulation of you being a pilot in a ship in the galaxy? Because all of a sudden we're talking about another dimension or two of data, there's an awful lot of numbers suddenly to display. So
like
yes, if you've got some ideas, let us know. Techie question, what is the average bandwidth required by Elite Dangerous? It depends on what you're up to, Commander Michael Wolf. I personally have played it online using my mobile phone over GPRS, which is on the order of 40 kilobits a second. I dare say if I was in an instance with lots of other players in a game level as complicated as a starport, or indeed the ancient ruins site that Ed is visiting now with a number of commanders driving around in their SRVs, I imagine that wouldn't be even close to enough bandwidth.
And also outputting the stream at 60 frames per second.
Yes,
hopefully things are going to be okay.
Absolutely, that wouldn't work too well. So if you're running in single player mode, it runs in very constrained environments. If you're in an instance with, say, 127 other people, maybe not so much. It depends on the complexity of what it is it's up to. But we spend a lot of time minimising it and optimising it, compressing network where we can, avoiding replicating certain game objects where we can. But again, all those are scary changes, which is why we ask for your help in beta testing them.
Shout out to Commander Rigel Noma.
Yeah.
Hi there.
What is my least favourite number? My least favourite number is 1, because things are always better with more than one person around.
Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely. Commander Simon Smith says there are lots of things happening every day in Elite Dangerous. Conflicts, elections, any plans to improve visibility in local news? We always do what we can. We've actually been doing a lot of work on that recently, so I think it was in one of the most recent updates we've now got a summary news article that appears at the top of every local news in every star system, where we try and display a potted history of what every faction that is present in that system is up to. The problem comes when we try and display that across the whole galaxy, because there are on the order of 75,000 factions in the entire galaxy. What they're up to at any given point in time is suddenly far too much information to try and appropriately display. And trying to find out what's interesting, pretty much geography is our best clue for that right now. So yes, we are working on it. I'm sure there's a couple of fixes coming up in the next point release to do with making the results of conflicts a little bit clearer. Maybe when a faction has won or lost control of a settlement or a market or a base, and we'll try our best to make sure that that information is accurately conveyed. So we do understand that local news is the best way of finding out, and we try and work on it where we can.
Whoa. SRV controls. Whoa. Oh, don't steal my thing. Yeah. It's my thing. Oh, I'm nudging. I'm smashing it to pieces. I'm not sure this isn't going. Hold on.
It's a good test though.
Wow.
Oh dear.
My acceleration.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cargo bay.
Sorry, as you were saying?
Cargo scoop. Yay.
Don't try and steal it.
Yoink. That's very blue and shiny. Cargo acquired.
That means I now get my decal, right?
Yeah.
Steve, is that you? Is it just the one I need to do?
So, Commander Focus Break Habib, will there be any updates on the graphics engine? That really isn't my jurisdiction, I'm afraid. There are some very clever people who work on our render, and I can't even understand the titles of the tasks they work on, let alone the maths behind it. Sorry, I'm really not the person to answer that one.
You would say that this is probably quite a decent little test we're running right here with all the get off my relic.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a perfect test. Another good test would be to get two sets of multi-crews and take it in turns to enter the instance all at the same time, close to the planet's surface.
Should we do that now?
I don't think we're going to get that together. But something like that. Yeah. All testing is good testing.
Oh, God. Unless it's done by me.
Commander Marco Sparks says, what determines how long an uninterrupted expansion takes? We used to see 5 days expansions, but recently seen 6, and might even take 7. It is not population driven, and there are some rules for when it ends, and I'm sorry I can't remember exactly what they are. Again, I don't have my full notes with me to answer that question. But if you've got a detailed question, maybe in a future live stream, submit it on a forum thread, and I can get the research done so I can present an answer to you then.
Alright, so now I need to just basically take this back.
Yes. So Commander Shot says, are we doing this open stress test beta to test and improve the network code for some future exciting content? All future content is exciting. We're really excited to bring all content to you as soon as possible. And as I said before, it's all optimization, and yes, it's all good testing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Have I basically got everything that I need to get here at this point?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to make sure you get your testing decal.
Yeah.
In that case, you just need to participate in one of the community goals.
Which I've already signed up for.
Yeah, so you signed up for them, you've gone and you've scooped.
Is 1 ton enough?
Yes, you just need to demonstrate that you've helped us test. And you've been down to the planet surface where the other players are also working in beta. This way we can kind of just basically find out who's participated, who's helped us.
Excellent. Wonderful stuff. Alright. Other questions? By the way, the controls, someone's edited my controls because it used to be that toggle and now I'm stuck.
You've got the cargo scoop still on.
Yeah,
Does that?
I've just got myself stuck.
But
no, it's like it was the toggle was on before. Anyway, making excuses to be a
No, it's okay.
My poor driving, I'm just making excuses.
Driving an SRV is an acquired skill, which is one that I've yet to...
I usually have it as not toggle, like throttle toggle.
So one of the commanders has asked, Commander Lennick Ridinger, lots of systems of 7 native factions in a system, making the expansion of other factions in them impossible. Are we planning an increase on the total quantity of factions in the system? I nearly said the word.
Sorry guys, I will do that right away for you. Apparently I just need to turn the audio down of the game.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I didn't realise it was drowning out.
Oh, but I love listening to the game. The audio team have done such a brilliant job.
The people, they can listen to their own game.
Yeah,
they
that's
can't
true.
hear you every
Absolutely.
night.
So we chose that number of factions because we felt that gave a good kind of amount. It didn't make systems too busy and it didn't make them too empty. I don't think there are many systems that have that many factions that consider it to be home. Yes, certainly there are a few, and factions can't be forced out of their home system, I'm afraid. So if they're full, then they're full. The galaxy is a very, very big place, and perhaps you might need to expand to a different one. But there are no plans that I've heard of to expand that just now. Obviously it's something we could revisit in the future. Yes, it's just part of the ongoing tuning of the galaxy, which we look at an ongoing process just as part of our normal design workflow. But without having a copy of the live database on hand, I can't really give an opinion on how prevalent this is a problem. I'll make a note of it though and make sure that's fed back to our design team.
Literally makes a note.
Well, there are so many good ideas coming out of tonight that I need to make sure that we don't forget them all, because my memory is not to be trusted.
Andy Walster
in
the chat says Planet Coaster made onto the Chase as an answer. With another game that we make from to do answers Planet Coaster.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did not see that, but it's a brilliant game. I do love playing that at lunchtime in the evening. It's got a really good soundtrack.
Or Planet Coaster?
Planet Coaster. I'm afraid I don't know what the Chase is.
Oh, the Chase is an ITV quiz show.
Oh wow!
It was an answer on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was in the game Planet Coaster. What do players create? And it was like roller coasters. So it was quite fun.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Sorry to interrupt the questions.
You know your company has succeeded when.
Yeah, that's
really
that was the email that went round.
Yes. Commander Wesley says, do you personally think we will get better multiplayer after all this? Yes, I personally believe we will. This is why we spend a lot of our time optimizing our networking experiences and our networking code, just so that when people are in complicated scenes such as the ancient ruins, that we give them as good an experience as we can manage, and we always try and make that better.
Now, Dav, I have another question for you, and I hope you can answer it.
I can try.
Sorry, because I should be able to answer this, and I should know this, but I don't.
Okay.
So I'm asking you: do you have to take part in both community goals, or just one?
I believe it's just one, but again, that's not actually my jurisdiction.
It should be mine.
Yeah. Well, it's.
I should know the answer to that one. I'm sorry.
Perhaps
somebody in the chat.
Perhaps if Steve Kirby is still in the chat.
Steve Kirby, Stephen.
Yeah, nominate Kirby.
Yeah.
Is it both? Do we have to do both mining and collecting the ancient ruins, or is it just one? So for the people who are asking about why we've got 2 different community goals in the beta, it's because there are 2 different areas of the underlying game code that we're asking people to test. So the Ancient Ruins site is one of them. It's to do with multiplayer networking of the game levels.
Just the ones that's just gone already.
Yeah, but we've also adjusted how physics works. So when things like limpets go and capture a mining fragment, or when missiles hit players or miss players, we've changed some of the interactions for those to make those work better in the networking environment, which is why we've got community goals for both, so that people who wish to test both can do that. And for those people who hadn't seen it, you only have to participate in one of the beta community goals to record your participation that you've helped us test, the 2.3.10 release.
Please do engage in both, because we need both of those things testing.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe we shouldn't have told people that.
Yes. Question Tamaru, have we been getting useful data from the beta so far that will help us improve the networking code? The answer to that is a resounding yes.
Really, already?
Yeah,
noticeable already.
Yeah, well, with the amount of feedback we've had back from from the players through
That's
our
fantastic.
hard-working QA team has already been fed back to our programming team. Some very clever programmers have been hard at work on some of the feedback, and sometimes when people have had a good experience, sometimes when they've had maybe a less good experience. So yes, the beta process is really valuable to us.
Excellent.
We wouldn't do it if it wasn't.
So just to be completely clear, all I need to do is deliver one, so sell one.
Yeah.
So here.
So Commander Old Duck is talking about the PlayStation 4 lunch.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
I'm
Will
hungry.
PlayStation 4 launch at lunchtime? I really have no
not
idea.
this
That's
lunchtime,
really
or
not my area. Yeah, that's very much not my jurisdiction. So anyway, what
was the question?
The question was, will the PlayStation 4 launch place a surge on existing servers, or do we get our own servers that are synced with existing ones? Which is a very good question.
I have contributed.
You have contributed.
I have contributed.
Yay, you're a beta tester.
It's not saying that I have.
Absolutely.
That's
So PlayStation 4 commanders will be joining PC, Mac and Xbox players in the same copy of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
Yeah, so the Galaxy servers will be the same. They are shared with everybody else. The Galaxy servers also scale by themselves. So yes, if we know we're expecting a big influx of players, then we will brace them for impact as best we can. But they will also automatically handle influxes of players. So if lots of people join in, then more servers will start up. There will be some PlayStation 4 specific servers for the matchmaking services. And again, those will automatically scale depending on the number of players who join in. We're expecting it to be popular, and we will, of course, do our very best to give everybody a smooth launch day experience. So, yes, we do expect a surge, and no, we don't expect it to be a problem. Whether it will be a problem, you'll have to judge. It's based on the experience we get you on the launch day. But we're just as excited as you are.
Oh, I'm especially.
Yeah.
I really, really can't wait to play that on PS4.
It's going to be good times.
Oh, the Viridian Phenomena, that's
Yeah.
nice. Any more questions? I think we roughly have about 20 more minutes left for
10,
questions.
20 minutes, something like that.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
It's all. Oh, look at that shit.
Yeah. So are we saying that all servers are cross-platforms? It depends on which servers. So there are a number of different servers in the game. Some that provide the Galaxy, some that provide missions, some that provide networking, and some that provide matchmaking. Where multiplayer matchmaking is concerned, because Xbox players are only ever match made with other Xbox players in space, it doesn't make sense to mix those people up on a PC and Mac server, because that takes away server capacity that we could otherwise use to make sure that PC players see each other in space and Xbox players see each other in space. So for those types of servers, yes, we do split people up. For other servers, such as buying and selling commodities, completing community goals, buying new ships, those are shared servers because they impact the Galaxy equally, no matter which platform you're talking to them from. And if you want more details on that, I'm pretty certain there's a YouTube video from a conference presentation from a year or two ago.
And it hasn't been confirmed yet, but at some point in future, I think that we're going to do a little talkie style live.
Wow, breaking news tonight. Absolutely. Future plans of live streams. We have them.
I apologise. Yeah,
absolutely.
We do have future plans to do some nice talkie style live streams. Which is
so, Commander Lene Grindinger asks again, that's 2 questions in one live stream. Are there any plans to better target the expansion efforts of minor factions? It is almost random now and it is difficult to direct. Yes, we understand that it is difficult to direct. Some of that is due to design constraints, because trying to understand how a number of players wish to affect one thing, it suddenly becomes a very difficult user experience question, and therefore it's difficult to design and implement. At the moment, it isn't actually random, but but it's so complicated that it is difficult, and it depends on what the state was at the time when people were trying to expand, that from the point of view of players, it might as well be random. So yes, we understand that people would like to direct expansion more. Yes, we've taken it through to some of our ideas. No, there's nothing to announce today just yet, so definitely no promises on that one. But yes, we do hear you. What else have we got? How do I activate the bandwidth thing? I actually don't know the answer to that. Perhaps somebody in the chat room can say. I'm fairly sure there's a hotkey in the game client to display the amount of bandwidth being used by it at that time. I forget what it is, but there is I believe there's an in-game debug option that will tell you how much bandwidth the networking is using. And the answer is Control B. So for those people who wanted to find out how much bandwidth the game is using, press Control B and the game should tell you, a little bit like... apparently,
yeah.
Yes. A little bit like that.
Yep, like that. It's on the bottom of the screen, you can see it there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you can.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
There you are.
Indeed. So, what else can we ask? How come most answers in live streams are of a very vague nature?
I don't think you've been that vague this
It's
year.
a reasonable question.
But you know what? Be vague about it.
I will be vague about the answer. So we like being as open as we can, but if we don't know an answer, there's no point us making something up. Or if there's a risk of us getting it wrong, then putting out wrong information would really mislead player expectations. Likewise, the talking about future plans is really not the role of tonight's live stream. It's kind of talking It's talking about kind of implementation things, talking about the game right now. Some questions will be specific, some of them won't. So where we can't answer a question, where we can't give you an answer, there's no point as telling you something that's wrong. That doesn't really help you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And there's also, we don't want to sort of mention something that we think is coming or want to talk about, and then actually plans change, because of course that's the way things are.
Absolutely.
And then unfortunately we've set expectations in a different way, so we have to wait until things are absolutely ready to talk about.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Even if something we think we're confident in, there are always things that could happen at the last minute. Elite Dangerous is a complicated game, and something might not work at the last minute due to a design question or to an implementation thing, or it just doesn't work at scale, or it just doesn't fit at in that release for that point in time. So there's a limit to what we can do to talk about until we're really confident that we can give you a good experience based on what it is we're talking about.
Stephen Jacks is excited for the 27th. How long is it until the 27th? That's a good question.
It's some days until the 27th.
We're on the 8th.
19 days.
19 days.
Yes, it'll be a good day.
That wasn't a vague answer. That was a factual answer. Yes, as much as we love Hyper, it's better that way. Keep expectations.
Commander John Mitchell says, "How is the hamster?" Commander Mango only also asked about that. We don't talk about the background sim hamster.
You don't talk about it, but yeah.
We don't talk about the background sim hamster.
Yeah, I'm excited for the PS4 launch as well. Yeah. Any more questions for Dav? I mean, look, we've got a few more minutes here with Dav.
Longest wait in history.
That's all. I'm glad that you're excited. I am. More questions.
How do I make an alien ship appear? It depends on where the alien ship is. They move on their own timetables. Where they are and where you are may not necessarily be the same place.
I don't know what aliens you're talking about.
Absolutely. How many physical servers are needed for an average day? It varies. More than 2. Less than 20,000.
Yep.
But it varies over a typical day.
Planet Bliss has a question there. Is FDev at E3 this year? We do have representatives at E3 this year. There are people going down there for us. We will be talking about some stuff at E3. And in fact, that brings me to my next point, if you don't mind me interrupting, about something slightly different.
Go for it.
But next week, I'll be doing a couple of live streams. We'll probably talk about them in the newsletter tomorrow, but I'm doing a live stream on Monday and a live stream on Tuesday night. Now, I'm going to stress that you come along to those live streams because it is going to be a bit of a community event, as it were. The developers have set something up in-game that I think is very much deserves your attention, is what I should say.
Yep.
So please do come along. There will be a chance for you to be involved in it as well. We'll be kicking off some cool stuff on Monday at 7 p.m. BST. That's Monday, this coming Monday. And then we'll be finishing it on Tuesday. So we're going to do 2 live streams in a row. You can try and think about what's going to happen, but you probably won't be able to predict it.
Yep.
But there's some cool stuff. and I really suggest coming along to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
We're excited.
Yeah, and it ties in with stuff that we're talking about at E3, so
yeah. So
come along.
Good times are coming, and not just the 27th.
I think it's an interesting. The thing that we're doing, the plan that we have, is going to be interesting. Yes, as Just Call Me Wendy says, Dav, stop him. Yes, as Just Call Me Wendy, of course. Yeah, that's
give a man a microphone and an audience, and off we go.
That's what'll happen. But yeah, come along. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. Are we planning on releasing our own stats? I don't believe we are. I don't believe there are any plans to do that just now.
But as far as I'm aware,
no. I don't think I've heard of anything to talk about just now.
At the moment, yeah.
Am I John Otway's son? I'm afraid I don't know who John Otway is. So if I've missed something to popular culture, I'm a programmer. That sort of thing happens all of the time.
Yeah, interesting. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Unleash the cookies.
Can I share any upcoming and confirmed improvements as part of the post 2.04 quality of life? No, because we're not post 2.04. So again, future plans, I'm afraid, can't help you there.
Yeah, we're not talking about future plans today, unfortunately.
Nope.
There will come a time where we do talk about these future plans, I promise. And you ones, will be the first people to know all about it.
Yeah.
All right, Dav, is that your work coat?
Yes. There have been times when I've had to wade through so much data that I need protection. Personal protective equipment. We have to think about health and safety in the workplace.
This is an interesting question. I don't know if you want to answer that one.
I was hoping not to answer that one.
Right.
So the question that I was hoping to not answer was from Commander Ducalo. How much more persistence would be possible to achieve,
it's an interesting question, though, right?
Whether respect to NPCs, the state of conflict zones, how much more persistent could it be? There are plenty of places that obviously it could be more persistent. It's a computer program. Technically anything is possible, just given time and resources. I mean, I'm terribly sorry it falls into future plans again. Can't talk about that this evening, but it is something that does come up in conversation from a design and a technical point of view. We would always like to add more persistence to the game, add verisimilitude to the galaxy, and it's also cool, but I'm afraid there's nothing to announce just now.
Sorry, France, for asking that question and getting your hopes up there.
No.
All right, Green Blazes, Apex Firethorn, Green Blazes, that's a question you should ask the community. These guys are...
What languages and runtimes are used for the servers? I think it's no secret to say that our servers use a combination of open source tools, such as PHP, MySQL, Redis, Mongo. This is all information we've published before. And a lot of the high-performance servers are written using our in-house Cobra game engine, just because we really need that level of power and flexibility, and those are C++, but using the Cobra engine.
Somebody asks, how long will the little community event be going on for next week across the pond? Don't worry, it begins at 7 p.m, but there will be time for you to join in with that over the pond in different answers. Alex Brentnell says, have you seen my PM on the forums?
No, because we're on the live stream talking to you lovely players.
He's probably sent it to me ages ago and he's waiting for a response. I'll check it out as soon as I get back to my desk tomorrow morning. Any more questions? Last few questions?
No, you can't have Dav as a new mem. You had one last time.
Okay.
Seeing myself as an animated GIF in a forum avatar was plenty, I assure you. With the instances the game run in, are there a fixed number of instances or are they spawned as needed? That's a very good question. So the answer is that they spawn as needed. A instance requires a very small amount of server time, but only to say which players are currently talking to which other players. This is purely matchmaking. All of the details are peer-to-peer between the different players. So there aren't a number of fixed instances. We don't have to scale up new servers just to hold instances. It's all handled between the different players.
Okay, excellent, good stuff. Would you like a game of Elite Miniatures with Colin Ford?
Maybe not right now. My arm isn't quite long enough, I'm afraid.
All the way around the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good question. LaveCon, are you going to be heading down to LaveCon?
I hope to be able to make it to LaveCon. I've been a number of years past. It's always a good event. Hats off to the people who organise it. It's a thankless task putting on a con of that size. So anything I can do to support it, because it's always a good time. There's always some good people, great conversations, play some games. So yes, do please support your community convention.
And Nade says, Dav, why are you so clever?
Practice.
I got some more questions.
There's got to be some questions in here somewhere. Do player factions get different mission spawn conditions than NPC factions? So, Commander Orange Spark, factions that are in the game that either come from us, from player suggestions, or were part of the galaxy itself, they're all considered absolutely identically from the point of view of the game. I would say it's fair to say that the game doesn't even know if a faction was sponsored by a player group or not. A faction is a faction no matter where they are in the game. They're all treated identically.
Excellent. Could we have a LaveCon in the US sometime? Well, we do put on events around things such as PAX West, and we had one at PAX East, little events, like not quite the same as LaveCon, because that's actually a community-led event.
Yep.
So that's an event that the community put together themselves. So if you want to have one, you should put one on, and we'll support you in whatever best way we can. However, that said, when we do go to things like PAX West and PAX East and TwitchCon and things like that, we usually tend to run, or we just started at PAX East, which was the first one we did. So we were going to start to try and run events that coincide with that mean people, commanders, can come together and chat and things like that.
Because attending an event like that, you know that you're with like-minded people, and just talking to anybody, you'll have a good time just talking to people about people who share your interests. It's always good to meet other players who do similar things.
Somebody asked if we're going to have a HOTAS for Xbox One. There's nothing to talk about on that right now, but
it's a frequently asked question. Yes, we hear the feedback,
and if it is available, then we will support it.
Okay. So Commander Aurora says, how do you learn programming to the point where you can turn it into a full-time job? So one of the most important things is that all of us people around the world, we all learn in different ways. So I was a self-taught programmer at an embarrassingly young age. I just picked up a BBC and discovered, press button, receive basic, 20, go to 10, and it just spirals from there. Some people like learning from books. Some people like by learning to go into workshops. So depending on where you are at the moment, for instance, your school might be running a coder club, or it might be running an IT curriculum as a lunchtime or an evening event. If you've got time in the evenings and weekends, there are a plethora of amazing online courses from people like Udacity, Coursera, edX, other course providers are available, who have got any amount of programming courses to go from the very basics, what is a computer program, why should I try and make it do my bidding, through to some really complicated stuff involving statistics, databases, networking, artificial intelligence. So the way to get to a certain extent to be good enough to do it for work is just to start doing it. With the internet being where it is, you can be self-published for any of your creations, so you don't have to work for a company as part of your day job just to create a thing and get it published. You can create a website. Even creating a website is programming. But if you want to write a game, go and download a game engine. There are many available. Just start designing it, uploading it to the web, maybe make a mod for another game. Really, it's just get out there and start. And when you're working on your own, you can't make a mistake because there's no audience to make a mistake in. So please, just get creating. It is as fun as it sounds.
There you go. And now you've just created an army of Davs who are gonna basically steal your job from you.
The more programmers in the world, the better. That way,
there's enough of you. There's so many of you here. There's hundreds of you.
I know. It's a big company. We're making some good games.
Good. I'm glad you're all here. You do a great job. All right. So somebody up here just really want to quickly address something that somebody said. I'm so sorry. I've lost the point. I've lost where they were. But they did make a question. Delboy Gaming. So I'm not worthy. I guess I'm not worthy. I've asked so many questions, not received a response. I'm sorry, Delboy Gaming. It's just that it's moving relatively quickly, and so we've not managed to see everybody's questions.
Yeah.
We want to be able to answer as many as we can, but sometimes it skips through.
Yeah, we do want to get to as many questions.
And also you're trying to pick out the ones that you can actually give a decent answer to, rather than
absolutely
being vague as people.
Watching a live stream of me reading out questions I can't answer might not be quite such compelling content for you all.
Anyway, sorry, thanks to Dav Stott. I can confirm you did not beat the number of questions. Now, the big difference with that is that Sandy had questions in advance that he wrote down the answers to and just read off a big sheet.
And Sandy's much bigger than I am. No, not in the politest possible sense. He can field a lot more content than I could.
Oh, I don't think that's... Well, hey, let's not put yourself down, Dav. In fact, I want everybody in the chat, please, to do a huge round of applause and pay some massive respects to Dav as well. Please do pour some love in the chat for Dav for coming along tonight, taking time out of his personal schedule after work. I mean, your work day finishes at 5 and you're still here, so
almost never.
All right, so do come along. And well, first of all, are you going to have pizza for dinner tonight? You haven't used the dice yet.
So,
just going to use the dice.
I need to make a decision. I've used up all my decisions at work
today. I'm just thinking of any...
Absolutely.
Yes!
Apparently, I'm having pizza for dinner tonight.
I'm going round to Dav's for pizza, because that sounds good.
It came up, yes.
Yeah, it's great to have you on here, Dav. I really do appreciate it. So
Anytime.
thanks a lot. And will you come back again in the near future?
If you'll have me, and if there's something something useful that I can do,
Hey,
then I'm always
you
happy
were very
to
useful this
contribute.
evening. Well, certainly. And everybody, thanks very much for turning out tonight. It's very cool to have all of you here as usual. Like I said, look out for the newsletter tomorrow that'll have details on the live stream. But we will be having a live stream on Monday night that begins at 7 p.m. and Tuesday night that begins at 7 p.m. BST.
Yep.
I think it's worth your time coming along. We'll have some community guests on there as well as taking part in some fun activities. So do come along.
Yep.
And thank you again, Dav.
You're absolutely welcome.
And thank you, everybody at home.
And thank you to Clairvoyant for the hashtag.
And what was that? Free Dav.
Yes.
Very good. Yes. All right. See you. Bye.
Bye.